we're very grateful that you found time in a very busy day to be with us, and it's my pleasure to give you Sam Brownback of Kansas.
Thank you very much, Checker. You're overly kind and generous with your comments. I hope people can agree with one or two of them, at least here at the end. I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to be able to join you. I'm honored to be able to the stage with Lamar Alexander, who I've followed for a number of years, have been very impressed with the things that he has done and going to do on into the future. He's had a fabulous career and moving on towards the future. I do have a suggestion for a campaign platform for him as he's running for president here in a couple of years, and that would be to promise to keep the State of the Union address under 1 hour. I think it's a real winner. I think there'll be a lot of people in the country that would identify with that and say, cut their time and send them home, or something like that. It was a remarkably long speech last night. I do understand, though, you have some competition running for president coming up. I've seen some bumper stickers around town on Strom Thurmond and Jesse Helms running for president. And they say their motto is, why waste 200 years of experience? Sounds reasonable to me. I don't know. There's been a lot of things going on. I am green to town, and I've been here once before in 1991 when I was a White House Fellow at the trade field and enjoyed that a great deal, but learned so much from that we didn't move the family this time. They're still in Topeka, Kansas, and I'm commuting back and forth on the weekends to the family that's back there, and learning to understand the town. Although the one thing that I really don't want to ever become here is domesticated. They have this process where you get domesticated in the Congress, where you come in with all this passion and desire and feel of the people, and then you get into town and it's kind of a, there, now wait a minute, you really don't understand how this place works. Well, you know, I look at them back and I say, wait a minute, you don't understand what's going on in the country. They're mad. They're furious out there about what's been happening here. I walked my district for a year, and there's no better way that you can get to know your district than to walk door to door, town to town, meeting to meeting, coffee shops, in and out. And I'd go into places, I'd go into coffee shops, I'd go into restaurants, I'd go into a small business, and I'd say, what do you think of Washington? Loaded question, right? But I mean, I'd say, what do you think of Washington? I'd get my, two lead answers I would get. Number one is, you don't have enough time for me to tell you what I think. And the second one was, blow it up. I mean, they were mad. They're still mad. This was very much a populist election, this last election. It certainly was in my district, where people just were furious about the size, the scope, and the intrusiveness of this government of theirs. And much like the 1890s populist movement election, which at that time was against big banks and big railroads, the people felt the same way. They felt like they'd been controlled and manipulated by big banks and big railroads, and they were powerless to do anything against it. And they're mad. Kind of like maybe your big brother's sitting on you while you're wrestling with him when you're a kid, and you're flailing away here, and you just can't get him to move, and you're mad. It's about all you can be is mad. And I tell people, I ran on 3 words. I had a 3-word campaign. Reduce, reform, and return. We needed to reduce the federal government, reform the Congress, and return to the basic values that built the country. And I gave that speech throughout my district and talked to people every day about those 3 words. And after every speech, virtually every speech, somebody would come up to me and say, you know what, Sam, you're a nice young man, I like you, I like what you're saying, I'm probably going to vote for you, but none of those things you're saying are ever going to come true. None of that's ever going to happen. It's never going to get smaller. You're never going to reform the Congress. That's just not going to happen. It's just this palpable, visceral hopelessness of a populist rage. But they spoke November 8th. They said, look, we're tired of it. We're tired of this crap. And I mean, it's a blunt instrument approach. We're throwing all those guys out, and we're putting you guys in. If you don't get it done, we're throwing you out in 2 years. And we'll bring in another group, and we'll see till we get it right. But we're mad, and we're tired of it. And I think that's the moment we're at. And I hope we heed the call of the nation. Because if it was ever clear, it was clear on November 8th. And if it's ever clear, it's clear in eastern Kansas, in towns of Parker and Parsons, throughout my district. What do they want? They want a less intrusive federal government that less tells them what to do and takes less money from them. They work until May 8th now just to pay their taxes in Kansas, and it's too long. It's too long. They want to have a few things happen. They want to see us get out of debt. They just think I think it is, and they do as well, despicable, and it's a sin of some of the highest order of what we've done to spend this nation so far in debt. We're $4.5 trillion in debt. The number's so big it doesn't even touch people anymore. It just doesn't make sense to them anymore. But it's $19,000 every person. We haven't spent our kids' inheritance. We've spent them into debt. We've done it. Some of it for good causes. A lot of it wasn't. They want us to stop that ridiculousness for the children and in the future. They'd like to have some freedom from the federal government and all the dictates and demands that it gives. And they'd like to be able to make the decisions themselves. Call it total quality management for government, if you want to, where you get the decision made closest to the people possible. You will see this passion and these ideas reflected in many of my fellow cohorts in the freshman class in Congress. The 73 of us on the Republican side that came in ran on much of that same agenda. And we have really an extraordinary amount of unanimity on view and thoughts along this line. You're going to see us pushing very aggressively to redefine the role of the federal government with its people on the basis that, one, we're broke. We can't afford everything we're doing today. We don't need to do more with less. We need to do less out of the federal government. You're going to see us pushing that on a basis of freedom, that the people deserve to be free from the overhanging of the bureaucracy, that the federal government should be our servant, not our regulatory master, that it shouldn't bribe us with federal candy to be following it along its way. And you're going to see us pushing it on that basis as well, and be able to get the decisions closer. We will be examining the need, whether we can afford, and whether it's healthy to have a number of the federal functions. You're going to see us putting forward requests to eliminate whole agencies, much along the line of what Secretary Alexander spoke of, for as far as the need to look at what is the appropriate federal role here. I mean, he talks about a federal leadership role in education, a bullet pulpit position, but not the strings and the demands that go with that as well. And a lot of that rings very, very true with my classmates in this 104th Congress coming into the freshman class. And in the Department of Education, you'll hear a lot of people in our class talking about the need to eliminate this. Have federal leadership, yes, but not the strings and the demands that go with it. This is inherently a state and local issue. It is funded state and local. 7 cents of every education dollar, as you know, comes from the federal government. But with that 7 cents comes enormous control. This town continues to amaze me truly on how little money controls how much in this. It doesn't make any sense to me. It didn't make any sense to me when I carried the bill on the House floor to audit the House of Representatives. Because I, for years, had watched the House of Representatives hold these great hearings and ask people, where did you spend this time? And what did you do here? In great detail. And then I asked, when was the last time we were audited, the House of Representatives? When do you think it was? Never. We've never been audited. Ever. In spite of a bank scandal, a restaurant scandal, a post office scandal, and others probably waiting to happen. Never been audited. That's incredible. You're going to see us look at those and push for those changes. And I truly believe if it's not us, it's somebody else that's going to get it done. And that's why we're going to be pushing so aggressively to get it done. And yes, we don't know a lot sometimes about what we're doing. We've been here 3 weeks, but we know it's time. It's time, and it's the moment to do it. My favorite Jefferson quote that I'll end with, the favorite one that I'm carrying with me, is about this time. And Jefferson once said that the moments for great innovation in society are few and far between. I think we're at one of those moments. I really do. I don't know how long they last. My sense is not long. And it's time to push and be very aggressive about it. Thank you. God bless. Look forward to